Welcome everyone to the Top Corner podcast. And today is our first recording of New Year's episode, I guess, 2024.
Yep.
2024 is yet full of surprise. We don't know yet, but I'm already saying it. It has a lot of amazing things for us, and we are here for the ride. And for all our viewers right out there, it's going to be a great year. It's going to be a great year, and we have a good show for you all.
You had a bit of a surprise at the start of the new year with I can tell with the mask on your face. Then
yeah,
you had a little bit of a kick in the teeth, a little bit to start the year. But
the year, I guess 2024 gave me a welcome. I guess.
Yeah, a little send off. Yeah. Like basically, it came to you right after it visited my wife at the end of last year. It gave her a little salute out, and then it's coming to say hi to you early. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Skylar. She'll be watching this. But yeah, I just came back from, I spent my last week of 2023 in Houston, Texas. And when I got back here, man, I'm telling you, I was just sick as hell.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And some of that can be from the drinking as well. Because you had you're not a big drinker, but when you do see friends and stuff, you'll embellish a little bit and have some fun. But,
participate in the competitive drinking.
Yeah. Sometimes it can bring your immune system down just enough.
Yeah.
To where you'll get that sickness that it's not that it's going to make the sickness worse, but maybe your body could have fought it off a little bit easier. You don't know. But.
Yeah, it's crazy because I just wanted to drink so much just because after that, I'm doing like a whole, the next month, I think till May or June.
Yeah.
No alcohol.
Like a big cleanse kind of a deal.
Friend.
Yeah, it'll be okay. I mean, and we can still hang out and I'll still do my normal thing. But
I would just bring my my pumpkin spice latte or something like that.
Super party mode. Yeah. I mean, I probably should join you on that. I just probably won't.
No alcohol and no sugar.
See, the no sugar thing, like this, these, I randomly will drink these.
Yeah.
I guess we give a sponsorship every once in a while. Way too much sugar for one beverage, but if this is all the sugar that I have for the day, which kind of I usually do, then I consider that okay. So I'll have like one or two of these a week, and that's fine. But the sugar-free are the way that I usually go. But I'm with you on that, man. Too much sugar overall, you start feeling sluggish, and it's not a good feeling.
Yeah. Plus, I'm like brittle. I get injured very, very fast, so I need to start taking them. And I'm scared, guys. I'm also scared because I'm so scared now because it's the first time of my life I've realized that I'm closer to 30 than I'm to 20. So I'm like, oh shit, I'm getting old.
Well, you're not getting old, but you're getting a bit more of an awareness. Yeah. Of the temporality of life.
I used to just be walking around. Nowadays, I walk around 4 and like I wake up and I have 4 bruises and it takes a while to. Yeah. Like, dang.
Oh, dude! After the Halloween party, this past October, I woke up and I knew that I had done something like my knee. I guess I just misstepped on the outside stairs once. Yeah. But it wasn't bad. I was like, okay, whatever. And I'm still having weird pops that didn't exist before. Like I've always had pops in that knee, but it's man. These things start happening to you. They start just.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to the gym every day now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I got to get my body right. Also, I got to eat better.
Yeah, we got a lot of things to work on this year. This is the year of ultimate improvement, I think. And it's good for everybody,
Yeah, but I don't do resolutions. Because you know what happened after resolutions? The next 2 weeks after you take your resolution on January 1st, guess what happened? You will never think about it anymore. And you just abandon it.
It's a good thing and it's a bad thing, I think. I think
it's pathetic.
Okay. See, so I think that it's interesting if you use it as a way to just kind of. It's not that it's like now's the time to make the change, but it's like it is convenient that it's the start of a new system of measurement. Like an increment of time, so it's easy to go. Okay, from now on, I will do that thing. Based on that time frame. But the issue is it's a catch-22 because it's the start of the year. You start thinking, oh, well, I've got time to do that. And I can, I can make mistakes and do that. But by February, like you said, it's usually over.
Yeah.
Because you start thinking, you're like, well, it's early. I can catch up and do that. It's like, you shouldn't think about it like that. But for me, that it's like 1 or 2 goals.
Yeah.
to set up and just go, yeah, like by this time next year, I would like to have done that thing, and I'm already doing it. But like just to put the
that in perspective for what?
Yeah,
because I do goals, right?
Yeah,
but my goals are not dependent on years.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're dependent on timeline that I want to get it done, even if I don't get it done by then.
Absolutely.
But so in terms of self improvement on myself and overall of what I want to do or accomplish, but they're not based on it's 2024. I'll start working out. And
I get that.
In January 30th, they ask you, how do it at some point.
And part of that is, like I just said, though, because it's easy for them to look at the entire year and see, well, I've got all of this time to improve.
Yeah.
It's okay if I don't do it here. And that's why it never gets done. So that's what you're saying. It's kind of an unhealthy way to look at setting goals, because it is easy to back off.
Just move your butt and go to the gym. Take a membership.
Move your ass. I'll go ahead and say it the right way.
Yeah, I won't cuss, but I'll get Julian to cuss for me.
Yeah, I cuss for me too. I'll cuss for anybody. If you're like send me an email with someone's phone number, be like, hey, this is my boss. Just give him the business real quick. I'll do it for you. But we got some interesting news that the transfer window is open, but not a ton's going on yet.
Yeah.
The Mbappe saga is still continuing, and it's getting even more annoying than it was.
I love Mbappe. Mbappe is like, the Mbappe saga is like Kardashian. In a sense.
Okay.
It's like it's always on the news.
It could be its own TV show that really wanted to be. Yeah.
Right now the rumor is it could be Liverpool or Real Madrid now. So
So I actually So I was gonna segue into that. And the idea of it being a bit more open now that he is willing to consider Premier League clubs, because for a while he really wasn't.
Yeah.
Manchester City was really the only one that he seemed interested in, but even then they didn't seem that interested in him. They seemed pretty set on Haaland the entire time, and at this point, rightfully so. I think that worked out very well for them, even if he's not. It's so funny, the bar that you set for people, because we could say, he's not performing this well or that way. He's still scoring a shit ton of goals, and like the club is not playing as well as they could, but they're still. That's what happens when you set the bar that high. When you're no longer playing that exact same level of perfection, like actual perfection. You start going, well, what happened to Man City? It's like, what? They're not perfect right now? Boo-hoo. You know what I mean? But he's really looking at Liverpool, and that's interesting because this, at the start of the season, based on the expectations from last season, that seemed a bit unrealistic that he would want to take a chance. It was a big chance. But with Mohamed Salah playing as well as he is, presumably for the next couple of years as well, I see no reason why next year he couldn't still be one of the top 2 or 3 goal scorers and assist makers and chance creators that he currently is. It seems like a great little bit of business for him. Yeah. Especially with their weak point really being in the center, but also that left wing is not producing the way that they should. Yeah. But you can think about like Diogo Jota, and then Mbappe in the middle, and then Salah on the right. That sounds pretty unbelievable. And you could, even if you wanted to, flip Mbappe and Jota and have him as a center forward. People are really trying to talk about Darwin Núñez. I'm still not impressed by him. Certain people that want to talk about how well he's doing. Yeah. But then his stats are very close to Eddie Nketiah's. And they want to put down Eddie Nketiah while putting up Darwin Núñez. Like, there's an inconsistency in terms of his output. Objectively, he's not doing that well. Núñez. So they do need two people in that front three to come in and be replaced ultimately if they want to be as consistent as they have been right now. But they have long stretches of form, but they're not permanent. They're not season long for the most part. And when they are season long bits of form, they win the league. That's what it seems like they have a habit of doing. So I think that would be a really good decision for him. If you're a Premier League rival, it's not the thing you want to hear at all. You'd rather him stay out of England if Liverpool is the only option. But, Liverpool's a likable side, I think, overall. Even if you're not a Liverpool supporter, they're kind of the toughest of the big six to hate. Wouldn't you agree? To outwardly dislike. Like, there's a respect, I think, that even if you don't support them, you still kind of have for them, I think. Yeah, I think so. I think, see, the thing about Liverpool... Okay, if you guys watch Arsenal, Liverpool, FA Cup, it's crazy because I thought for a minute Arsenal had it. Yeah. Actually, not for a minute. For most of the game, because Saka missed a lot of opportunities. But Liverpool or Arsenal played very well, especially the first half, the second half. The one thing I would say Liverpool still has
still has is the mentality and the winning mentality and experience in a sense. It's weird because at this point, I would have thought Arsenal should be nowhere near comparison to Liverpool as far as week in, week out, game to game, day to day, just because Liverpool is not at that state yet. Or Liverpool of 2020 or 2021.
2019, it was when they were an absolute machine.
And Arsenal has been playing since last year. They've been killing it. Now the problem is what does Arsenal need to be there? Some people will be, oh, well, they were saving energy. They were doing this for UCL or for that,
But they're tapering off again.
But they never want UCL to save energy for UCL.
Yeah.
Win what is available to you. And if you can't do that, then it puts in question every single thing. And I think that's where I'm standing right now. Like, Arsenal has the potential, but will they win?
And I never liked that as an excuse either. The whole, like, people will, I think that, like, some of the Manchester fans, red and blue, kind of do that thing where if they're knocked out of the FA Cup, they're like, yeah, well, the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup is a distraction. We need that. It's like, I don't consider any competition a distraction, really. Like, just play the games.
Yeah.
Play the matches. I don't get that. Validating a loss in a competition.
Yeah, because clubs like City or even Liverpool 2019 or any other club, when they are absolutely at their best and they're contenders, and they are those clubs, what they do, they win every single competition on their way that year. If
you're good enough, you can do that.
Small competition, it don't matter. It's a big competition. Heck, they will win even if there was nothing in place.
Yeah. So it's a way of validating a loss, a failure, and I've never been a big fan of that. I mean, so it is a big blow to an Arsenal supporter to be out of the competition. That's the competition that they excel at the most. The most FA Cup wins in Premier League history.
Yeah.
In English football history, period. It is always a shame when a team like that with that history and that competition goes. But I think it is a wake up call. It is you are now faltering again late in the season for different reasons. It's not that it's the same as last year. Because last year you could pin that on Saliba. You're like, you're losing one of the best defenders in Europe. I get that. You played so hard for so long that you truly did run out of steam, and now that is an excuse.
Yeah.
Your players can get burnt out, whether you're in a European competition or not. It can just happen based on how you play, how often they have to play. Saka and Martinelli look burnt out.
Yeah.
Even when Saka does have convincing chances, something is missing. In that final bit of business in the opponent's box, they look like the Three Stooges on ice. Just like everything goes wrong.
Yeah.
Everything goes wrong. Like they can move the ball up the field. They can maintain possession. They can have creative gaps of space. They do everything right. Yeah. And then that final bit of business, avenues close down, and they don't know how to cope with them. They're getting so many chances on target. The amount of shots they get per game is through the roof.
Yeah.
But the closing, the finishing is at an all-time low.
Mm-hmm.
So to see those stats conflict with the result, that's the most curious thing. It's like how do you plan to remedy that? How do you plan to get everybody back on track? And I mean, both competitions are still within reason. They're still within grasp. Don't get me wrong. With the Champions League, you do have pesky opponents like Real Madrid, Manchester City, Bayern Munich. Like I'm not saying that they are not competition or that Arsenal is even above them in terms of likeliness of winning the competition. What I mean, though, is that they're still in the conversation. They're still in the conversation for the Premier League. They can be. Mm-hmm. But the last month, maybe 5 weeks of form, really the last 3 weeks of form, truly, have been absolutely abysmal, despite the stats looking okay. You know what I mean? Like they're losing these games, but these shots, these chances on net, like they are convincing. So like just unlocking that final bit is a very frustrating thing for a team that plays that energetically to not be able to close the deal.
Well, I have a sad news for all of you guys, and I just want to pay my homage. For those of you guys who don't know, William might be a little bit young in the football business, but the great late, he passed away today, Franz Beckenbauer.
Okay.
You heard about him?
Yes.
Okay. This was one of the defining point, or the guy who kind of defined the position of libero libero, sweeper. So it's a central back in a sense. Nowadays, teams don't play that position like they used to do. Well, and a good example will be Matic when Mourinho had him at United, or even David Luiz at Chelsea. But it's the kind of this guy played the role so well, and he played. The reason why I remember, West Germany eliminated Cameroon in 1990 in the World Cup. That was the greatest African run by any country at that time in the World Cup. And West Germany at the time, they were West Germany, not Germany yet. And he was there. He was in the team squad, and he was really good. He passed away today. I like the guy, in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, but look, man, the age of 78, that's a pretty good run.
Yeah, I don't know if I could live that life. You know what? I told myself, if I get to an age where I cannot do things by myself, I'd rather die.
Well, and like late 70s seems to be around that time where you don't see, and again, everyone's experience is limited to their own, but like in your late 70s, if you end up going, you usually still have had, for the most part, good mobility. Yeah. It's just some sort of sickness comes in. But it's like when you start getting into your mid 80s or so, that's when people can sort of live for 15 years into their 90s with limited mobility and limited accessibility. And that is where it can get very frustrating. So you do kind of always want to find, and again, you don't really have the choice.
Yeah.
But,
and don't get me wrong, though. I would like to live at till those years, but
there's a quality of life that you want to have overall.
If I can, if I can't wipe my butt by myself, it
is a bummer, isn't it? Yeah.
I would take that rope real quick.
Yeah. Okay. No, I mean, but that is true, and like you want to always be able to have, within reason, the accessibility of life, and be able to go at the right time.
On the news again, we have the Afcon that's coming.
And the Asian Cup as well. Very inconvenient timing.
Wait, the Asian Cup is at this. I thought they play in summer.
Son is playing right now. He's gone for like 4 weeks.
Yeah. That's true.
Because he was, speaking of the Afcon, there have been several African and Asian players that have voiced the displeasure. It's like, why can't we play in the summer? Yeah. Like we don't like cutting up in the middle of the season, which I absolutely, it's unfair for the club, for the players, for the fans. It's unfair for everybody to have to use. I mean, you're separating from your best players.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But for Africa, it's kind of it's interesting because it will have been something to think about. I think in 2022, 2021, they thought about it. It's difficult because so for those of you guys who don't know, most countries in Africa, especially the west side, in summer, which is summer for you guys, it's actually raining season there, and it rains crazy. Yeah. I'm not talking about raining one day and just stop. No, it rains successful
weeks. Yeah.
So it's kind of difficult to play in that climate. That's why they prefer playing, because now it's kind of like summer in a sense. Right. It's hot right now.
Yeah, and I mean, and that makes sense, and it is unfortunate that the way that it falls for everybody else, it's not really able to be that way, and I mean, the players have to make tough choices.
Yeah,
clubs have to. I mean, I think Tottenham was looking for a center forward in January to cover Son for just a couple of weeks. Yeah. Like, you're having to make these big decisions with big money, but then also that new player that comes in, like, I'm sure they're aware. Yeah, like, I'm coming in to basically cover a spot, but like, I do want more playing time even when he's back. Like, it's a breeding ground for a lot of people to be unhappy afterwards.
Yeah, they can look somewhere else. Another thing is, for those who watch the Afcon, I have we can discuss about who do you think is the most valuable player right now in the Afcon?
In Africa, well, I mean, African player, or who's currently in the
player.
Mohamed Salah, I think, still has to be.
You think so?
I think so. I mean,
there's a guy you forget.
Victor Osimhen.
That's him.
I know. And the only reason that I do put Salah above still is because currently Napoli's form and subsequently Osimhen's form is down because of that. I mean, they're 10th. in the Italian table right now that is unacceptable for a defending champion. And then the fact that Salah is still putting up those numbers in the Premier League.
Yeah.
If he had fallen that far, but like I still think, age aside, and I think that age actually kind of enhances it. Because Salah has very precious few years remaining. Yeah. But he's still putting up crazy numbers in the Premier League. Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But those two, I think, and then the level of quality. I don't say level of quality, of must have.
Yeah.
It's like it is truly Salah, Osimhen, and then a big gap in everybody else. And there's great African players, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That separation is very clear between those two and everybody else.
And for those of you guys who are watching, I think the favorite for that cup, I'm obviously gonna root for my country, Cameroon, but I tell you what, I would think Senegal, Morocco, they are favorite.
Senegal is usually a big favorite, aren't they? Yeah. Who are, and I actually don't know too much about the history of the Afcon. Who are the three winningest nations in the history? Senegal has to be up there. Yeah.
If you're just talking about the history, it's Egypt and Cameroon. We beat everyone. There you go. We don't care. Senegal, actually, I think last time they won, that was their second or their third cup.
Okay.
They're the second cup. Cameroon has 5. Egypt has 7, if I'm not mistaken. And they have the most. After them is Cameroon for sure.
So that's interesting.
Cameroon, I don't know which one.
So that's interesting because Senegal does put out good players. Yeah. Like individual, like club players.
Club players, but I think it's by era too, because if you consider the early 2000s to late, they had really, they had Juve, they had the coach that's actually coaching them right now. But that too, even Ivory Coast put out great players, because after, like, if you consider the 2002 upward, even Cameroon, this time around is just not our time in sense, because I think the football in Cameroon has kind of because if you take 2002, we had Samuel Eto'o, we had Achille Mana, we had Job, we had Boma, Patrice Boma. We won in 2000. When was the Olympic Games? 2002 or 2000? I always get those two.
I think it was 2000. I think.
2000.
I think it was.
We won the Olympic Games against Spain, actually, when Xavi,
which is massive.
Was playing. So that team, but like I said, is by era. Like the whole 2000s, I think Cameroon and Egypt dominated, because Egypt had a great team, like especially in 2008, Aboutrika, Zidane, and they won. But like I said, era. Senegal will put out players, but in 2004, 2010, they were missing in action. Yeah. Mali will put out players too, but when you talk about football royalty, they all know it's Cameroon.
It's Cameroon.
Nigeria too.
I was going to ask you about the consistency
has been missing
in
in action, especially in the 2000, like late 2000s till now. But they've been a great nation. They've had, about JJ Okocha. You heard about him? Yeah. Guy was so good they named him twice.
That's funny. No, I mean, because it's kind of that way in college football as well, where you have teams that are like consistently at the top. You have teams kind of like LSU that are maybe like 5-year intervals, where like they're in and around the top for 5 years, and then maybe they're gone for 5 years. But then you've got teams like a lot of the teams in the Pacific Northwest that they'll produce good players that'll go pro, like individual players that'll go pro. But very rarely are a lot of those teams in the competition for the actual national championship. So it's interesting seeing the separation of those.
Some a team like Ghana, like if you talk about the 2010 up for, I'll tell you the country in Africa that I would say dominated around in a sense will be Ghana for me, because they even did a World Cup 2010. World Cup, is it 2010 or 2014? But World Cup 2010, they were supposed to go to, I think, the final. Sergio, was it Sergio goal? No, Suarez. Okay. Suarez, when they played, was it quarterfinal against Ghana? Suarez removed the ball with his.
I remember that. Yeah. That was the one. Yeah, dude. Against the red card. Unbelievable.
All Africans were pissed. I was so pissed.
Man.
I was like, man, let me travel over there.
Even as a neutral fan, you've got to be like, man, that's one, that's a very Suarez thing. I like that a lot. Like I like not that I like that he did it.
Yeah.
But there's something about, I mean, maybe it's like the old school wrestling fan in me that it's like, you know, your good guy is only as good as your bad guy is bad. So like you've got to have someone that does these dastardly things. Sergio Ramos, like, and then after a while you start to like them because of those kinds of things. Yeah. So it's like, it's such an outlandish thing to do, to just blatantly put your hand out there and say deal with it, and because you can't take the shot back. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't recreate the circumstances.
I think it was actually 2014.
Was it 2014? Yeah,
I think it's 2014.
Yeah, I mean, because you can give the pin because the pin's awarded, but like that doesn't necessarily guarantee that there's a score out of that. But that shot was on target. That shot was going in. It was 100% going in. Yeah,
so we kind of hated the guy for that.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, as a neutral, I think you should hate him. Yeah, in that makes him important. Yeah.
Yeah, Ghana I think they had the best chance that year, and after that, that was it. And Cameroon just messed up that whole year. Especially was it in Brazil? Man, there was so many fights.
Yeah.
And so many online too. And there was one guy. Aswell Koto, he used to play for Tottenham. I don't know if you've heard of him. He was really good too. But the whole thing over there, they were fighting and everything. And that's the World Cup that stuck in many people. If you're African, the hope of seeing an African club in final, an African country in final just went. But if you're just in the world and you're just a football fan, Brazil lost so bad, we were all sad.
Yeah.
It was like a funeral. So Germany just came back with that mentality.
That was 7. That was the 7-0.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
7-1.
7-1.
Yeah, they let them score one goal.
Yeah, they let him. So they gave it to him.
They gave it to him. Yeah. Oscar scored.
So I was actually going to ask you about that. That is kind of curious because in American football, fans have different. It's not quite 50-50, but I think that it's a lot closer than you would think. In college football is a good example, like the SEC.
Yeah.
If you're an SEC supporter, like your team is a part of that conference, and your team is not representing the conference higher up, you do cheer for the other SEC team.
Yeah.
Because you want, a good example would be like Georgia and Alabama.
Yeah.
If Georgia beats Alabama in the SEC title to go to the national championship, you technically should want Georgia to win, because then your team lost to the world, to the national champion.
Yeah,
that makes your team look better. What you don't want to happen is to lose to that team and then have them lose to somebody else. Yeah. That makes you look worse. So, like, is it that way for Africa as well overall with nationals? Like, does everybody seem to, at the end of the day, we support the continent itself, or do some people get a bit more tribal about it?
Oh,
because like I had that argument with guys here all the time of just like some guys will go, no, fuck that, like it's a rivalry, and it's like, yes, but at the end of the day, like both teams are serving something greater.
Yeah,
you're serving the conference itself. You want the conference to be the best, so that your team can perform well in the best.
Yeah, let me answer your question. Before answering, I want you to tell everyone. Actually, it was 2010, Uruguay, Ghana. So that was when Suarez did his magic or whatever, and
that was some black magic. That was some dark magic.
And then when they went to penalty shootout, and then Uruguay won, and everybody was mad.
It's amazing.
Now, to answer your question, if it's in the World Cup and you have African countries, no matter which African countries goes ahead, we just supporting them.
Yeah, sure.
But wait. It's the continent before everyone.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to support Germany if Ghana is playing, or Mali, or Sudan, or South Africa.
But there would be some people there that would, though. That would say...
That's going to be stupid.
Would let the national rivalry get in the way of the continental rivalry.
Now, it was weird because I don't even... In a sense, like Cameroon, right now, Cameroon and Ivory Coast, we have this sort of love-hate relationship, right? It don't matter, especially in soccer or football. My bad. But if they were to be in World Cup and they were to advance, and they will be the only African club,
against Korea,
country, we will support them.
Sure.
I'll support them.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like you watch boxing, right? Ngannou, he's Cameroonian. When he had that crazy fight, everybody was behind him.
Yeah,
it
sure.
Don't matter. It's just that you think about it this way. Why would I support a country that had already had it?
Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
It's just a chance for us. It's like more for So
well, it's like it's always interesting because we just like American sports, like in our own country, we can't even really do that. And then for us, I mean, and it you want to say it's a little bit different, but it's not, because a continent is a group of nations.
Yeah,
we don't have the same feeling for Canada or Mexico. We just don't. It's like, I mean, would we dislike them because they're part of the continental rivalry? No.
Yeah.
But is there a feeling of not obligation, but like a brotherhood of like, it's our continent, so we should support, but like we don't have that. We're so separated from those two.
I'm wondering if there's also like a sport that can gather everyone, because like no matter how you twist it, right? And even here, being in America for so long, I understand the dynamics of having American football as you being a fan or somebody that is associated with the sport.
Yeah,
it's a great sport. Or basketball, right? But there's not. In my years of being on this earth, there's no sport that can bring people together like football.
100%. Yeah.
Talking about soccer for you guys listening.
Right.
And especially you see the World Cup, it's like every country coming together. Yeah. I think if if you flip it into, let's say, American football, where you had this World Cup where there were all countries, I think probably if there was a chance that if America didn't make it that far, let's say to some sort of playoff, and Canada make it, I think they would support Canada.
Yeah.
It's just because there's not a sport like that.
Yeah.
Especially talking in the American side view.
Yeah.
Because there's no sport that Americans or even the continent that play where every other countries play that will unite everyone, like
that have their own league, that have a competition set up to where you advance past other, like, I mean, there
it's the same thing for you just said it. Like you have, if it's SEC, especially college, if you're Alabama didn't make it, you are potentially going for Georgia. I know some people hate Georgia so much that they would not do it.
But it's like it's so short-sighted though, because it does nothing but make your team look better if the team that you lost to advances as far as they possibly can. Like, I don't know. I've always had the argument, and there's only one team personally that I don't feel that for. Yeah. That I would like if they would lose every single game, no matter the stakes, I would be happier for it.
Which team?
Auburn.
Oh.
But I get it though.
Yeah.
Like I the greater good should usually be served, but there are certain circumstances. But like, I think that there should be some sort of like Champions League format set up for basketball.
Now, same thing.
The Chinese league, the Italian league, the American league. Like, you could do something like the FIFA Club World Cup from the continents and put them together. I'd be interested.
Spain has its league. Madrid, they have clubs. Madrid, Barcelona, all this.
For the longest time, the Italian league was Italian, like the developmental league for the NBA.
But, the thing is, it has to get to the greater heights of what football is. You also have to have a big number of people practicing, and it just have to, especially in Europe, because the most of the predominant sport there will be football. So it makes it, there's not that urge yet. But even if you see the Olympics, which kind of provide or mimic what we're talking about in terms of uniting just a sport that will bring everyone together. In terms of basketball,
in a sport that's usually just singularly in the U.S. But with the Olympics, you finally do get to break them apart nationally and let that be expressed. But for most part, it is just the NBA and that's it.
Now, if you see in the Olympics, if you had Canada, Italy, I think U.S. will support Canada. And I'm pretty sure when you have
you would hope at least
U.S. playing other, I think Canada will support U.S. just because at the end of the day, it will come back to.
I would expect Canada to support the U.S. in that circumstance more than I would the U.S. to support Canada. Whether it's right or wrong, I'm just saying based on.
Yeah, because the U.S. They're always trying to make this whole deal that it's them or nobody.
and that is changing, or at least becoming more aware. because when me growing up, like that sentiment was very strong.
Yeah.
This sort of American dominance kind of a thing, but it wasn't a feeling that people were largely aware of.
Yeah.
They had the feeling, but they weren't aware enough about the feeling to ask, well, why do I feel that? Whereas now, that sentiment is still there, but more people are asking, why do we have that feeling? Is that a right feeling to have? And the answer is, sometimes yes, sometimes no. That's any country ever. You should be able to have national pride without it being an issue. And you should be able to have national pride while also being able to be self-aware.
Yes.
And know the good and bad of what's currently happening within the nation and how the nation's conducting itself with other nations as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is definitely true.
Good talk, Jordan.
Well, looking at what we have in terms of transfer, where do you actually see Mbappe going? So, the man has been such a
little bitch. I'm kidding. Yeah. He's been a diva. You can say that, no problem.
Yeah.
Liverpool is still so. If there were three places where he could go, in this order, I would rank them. I would say I think that Real Madrid is still number one, but I do think that he is already mistreating the lady in the relationship. He is already mistreating Real Madrid, which is funny because Real Madrid's used to being the man in the relationship.
Yeah.
And they don't like that. I still think that that's it. At this point, though, I do think that it could be a very destructive relationship. Yeah. I think that unless he performs at the level that Haaland did for City in that first year, continuously, the fans are going to resent him. They are not afraid to look down on high-profile targets. They did not give Gareth Bale the respect that he deserved.
But that's in Spain, though. I think one thing with Spain that I never liked, they don't respect legends in a sense.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, unless Mbappe plays at that Haaland level every single year, at this point, based on how he's treated the club and the whole argument that's been taking place, they're going to turn their backs on him quicker than I think that he even realizes. Yeah. And so I can see that relationship going down very badly.
Especially with what's been happening. I think if he goes to Liverpool, it might be good, but I don't want him there just because I want him to win Ballon d'Or.
I think that he has more of a likelihood of staying at PSG than going to Liverpool still.
Yeah.
I think that PSG is still easily the second most likely option. He'll just stay there.
Yeah.
And if he stays one more time, it's over, I think.
No,
or it should be over.
No, if he stays, nobody is going to come for him. Even if people come for him, it's not going to be Madrid anymore. Because and if Madrid does that, I'll lose some respect for them.
Yeah, I could see him signing another 4-year deal, and when he's in his late 20s, 28, 29, Harry Kane's out the door, I see Bayern Munich picking him up.
Yeah.
And him winning a Bundesliga title or two, maybe a Champions League final. Man, you know what I mean? But like that's it though. I don't think anyone else should, because, and that's a good thing about Bayern as well though. It's good to see a club that's a top level side not afraid to sign older players and then have them play well. So
I just want him to win everything.
Why?
Because he's Cameroonian.
So come on.
I told you that's how I support people. It's by association.
Yeah.
You know how they say you're a victim by association?
Yeah. Well,
same thing for me.
I mean,
he's French.
I was gonna say he could play for Cameroon if he wanted to.
No, but
he doesn't want to. No, I would be mad. I'd be like, what the fuck? Are you talking about?
No, actually, there's a story about it. Apparently, his dad approached Cameroon.
Yeah, well, because his mom's French. That was the relationship, right?
Yeah, I think his mom is Arab, actually.
Okay.
Not Arab, Algerian.
Did he just? They just moved to France when he was young.
No, he was born in France.
Okay.
But his dad is Cameroonian.
Yeah.
So apparently, they had approached the Cameroonian association, football association, but they wanted money. They wanted bribe, and it was like, "Oh, we're not gonna give you money."
No, okay, so, all right.
Yeah,
I stand correct. I'm kidding. It's one of those where you assume.
Yeah.
And when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. So
But I think if he goes there, I want to see Real Madrid at its fullest potential.
Yeah.
Of youth. They will be destroying everyone, set men on their road.
Yeah.
And no one will be fit to lace their boots or stand against them.
You sound like a war general going into battle.
It wouldn't even matter. Even if you put City, you put Jurgen, you put Klopp, you put Pep Guardiola together and Arteta to combine tactics, they will not win Madrid.
What about a 22 versus 11 game? Would that work? Nah.
Yeah, it could work.
Yeah, that could work.
They could come with everyone.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
But I mean, by the time that they really figure things out, like in 2 years, let's say that Mbappe's there and he's there for a season, Tchouameni might not be there. Yeah. Camavinga might not be there. But I can see Camavinga being there longer. I feel like Valverde could be one of the ones that ends up going, unfortunately, which is very bad for Real Madrid.
The only thing I don't like right now about Madrid is the fact that they're really forcing this role. Because I heard, or rumors had it, that Ancelotti don't really want it. He's not looking for CB, right?
Yeah.
Then they transform in Tchouameni. I don't like that because it's killing its potential in a sense.
Yeah.
But if they had a solid CB to play with Rudiger, and they bring in Mbappe, oh man.
Because Tchouameni is definitely more versatile. Don't get me wrong, he does have some weaknesses in terms of quickness on the ball.
Yeah.
Short dribbling to create the space. Like, I don't think that he's obviously not an attacking midfielder, but he is more than a center back. Yeah, he deserves to be in that 6-8 kind of position because he is more mobile than a traditional CDM.
Yeah,
but he's not quite mobile enough to be that 8 that drifts into a 10.
I will put Tchouameni at 6. I will put Camavinga just on top of him.
Yeah,
probably like just side. Just a little bit further from him.
Yeah.
And have Bellingham ahead of Camavinga.
Those rumors of Arsenal being interested in Tchouameni made a lot of sense. Remember that?
Yeah.
When it looked like there could have been this Victor Osimhen Tchouameni transfer window that would have rectified the lack of a center forward, and it would have immediately picked up the slack that an injury-prone Thomas Partey has currently been. Because he plays a lot like Thomas Partey.
Yeah,
in that way, and that would have been a very interesting thing to see, and that those rumors have been really quiet since the summer window closed at the start of the season.
Yeah, I think if he went to, I can see Arsenal being a good move for him, because I can see Arsenal being a good move for him because playing there with he will play with Rice or just under Rice if Rice is like just.
Yeah, because that's another thing as well, and we don't need to talk about Arsenal the entire time, but like seeing him a bit more of an offensive creator, like that's been an interesting thing.
Yeah,
him not just sitting back as deep as he is. I mean, like there are certain times where he is the one that's providing a lot of the mobility into the box, and creating a lot of opportunities in unconventionally conventional ways. Because I think that Arsenal excels at finding very interesting, non-traditional ways of getting into space.
Yeah.
A lot of offbeat passes, but then all of a sudden, Rice makes one or two simple steps, and he's inside.
Mm-hmm.
And and having one player that's up forward like that, making those moves, while everybody else is sort of trying these highly stylized, highly aggressive, tactical move, like that makes it a very unpredictable thing to work with.
Rumor, facts we don't know yet, but let me read this to you. PSG deny reports. They use pressure to try and get Messi 2021 Ballon d'Or award.
Trying some backroom tactics. Well, honestly, if there was
what do you think?
If there was a club that was going to try it, that's a very PSG thing, isn't it?
I can see PSG because they had just acquired Messi and they really wanted him. Well, according to Ramos, they really wanted him to get the Ballon d'Or, so
to bring it to Paris, because that's the issue that I have with that club as well. They're so I just can't stand them because they're one of those clubs that for some reason they will try to make if Messi wins the Ballon d'Or, right? Mm-hmm. PSG want to make it just as much about PSG as Messi. As opposed to the respectful club saying, yes, that player earned it. PSG want to stand like in the back with a sign and like try to get up in front of Messi and put the sign in front of his face and like, I don't know.
But hopefully it's not. This rumor stays a rumor. But they're saying they launched an investigation PSG are accused of lobbying for Messi to win the award that years, and Le Monde have claimed that whatever was appointed as PSG new communication, whatever. But the thing is, they have launched an investigation to PSG, and they're looking to see if they had lobby for Messi to get 2021 Ballon d'Or. But you know what's crazy? If they had done that, and if it had worked, then the legitimacy of all the Ballon d'Ors will be put in question in a sense. Because if you can do that, imagine how many people did that.
Yeah. If one club successfully does it that we know of, there's no way it's the only one. There's no way it's the first time that it's ever been attempted and successfully pulled off either. But no, I stand by it though. PSG is one of those clubs that would make the individual players award they would try to make it about them just as much as the player, and you just don't do that.
The International Federation of Football History and Statistics, right? They have revealed their men World Team 2023. And some big names have been snubbed.
Okay.
I will give you the list.
All right.
The goalkeeper, Ederson, Brazilian.
Okay.
Your defensive line, and they have done it in a 3-4-4. That's kind of weird, but Alphonso Davies, Kim and Jae.
Okay.
Man, South Korea have a crazy team actually. I started thinking about it. Ruben Diaz.
Okay.
Then you go to your midfield. You have Lionel Messi, Kevin De Bruyne, Jude Bellingham, Rodri, and you go to your attack. You have Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland, Harry Kane. Now, the football viewers or football enthusiasts are worried. They said they snub Cristiano Ronaldo. Do you think that Cristiano Ronaldo had a place in that team? As much as I like the guy, looking at this team, I don't see where he will fit there, because this is 2023.
Yeah. That was the whole argument. I thought, I don't think that he belongs in there.
Yeah.
And the person that does think that he belongs in there is the person that's, because he scored what, 50 goals?
54.
Yeah, okay. But where is he scoring them? And it's like all of a sudden when Cristiano Ronaldo is still scoring, putting these numbers up, we are ignoring the hierarchy of league quality.
Yeah.
The same people that want to look down on the MLS because they watch the Premier League are ignoring the lack of quality in the Saudi Pro League because their favorite player
plays there,
is playing well there. And it's Josef Martinez in the MLS puts up good numbers each year when he's not hurt, which is often. So then I should say, well, he should be in the world rankings for a forward, because he's putting up those numbers in the MLS and Salah's putting up these numbers in the Premier League, so they deserve to be in a spot. No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
you have to acknowledge the quality drop off outside of the European leagues. And I don't know. There's blissful, self-chosen ignorance when people that you like are involved in the equation, and it's just a very annoying thing.
But doesn't this mean that because there's a thing too, right? Back in the days when you really, I wouldn't say really back in the days, but let's just say it like that. When you played in a league that was inferior to leagues like Premier League, La Liga, Ligue 1, when you show up on international duties, it really shows. But nowadays, it's kind of a little different, because although we can say the Saudi League is not there, but what makes the league to become a high-rated league is the quality of the players. But there's a lot of good players in there. Doesn't that mean that the league should also have a higher status than before? Because if it was 2020, everybody would have been saying, well, it's Saudi, what some people say, Shawarma League. But they have so many great players playing in VH. Doesn't that count for something?
It depends on how long those players stay there, because I don't know if you've seen the recent unhappiness that a lot of these players that you're talking about have currently shared. Jordan Henderson wants out as quick as possible. Roberto Firmino wants out as quick as possible. Not everybody's getting that Cristiano Ronaldo treatment. Not everybody seems to be completely okay with it. Karim Benzema has not been okay with how he's been treated at the club.
But they have all this money.
But that's not stopping a lot of these players from wanting to leave. I'm saying that this league seems like the Chinese league experiment that was happening from like 2008 to 2014, where the contracts are through the roof, but the quality of the league and the treatment of the players, and it's not about kissing ass.
Yeah.
But there's a cultural barrier between how the Saudi Arabian nation functions and how Europe functions, and South America, because a lot of these players are South American that are there.
Yeah.
And they're not liking the league. They're not liking the low attendance. They're not liking the culture of the fans. Not the culture of the nation itself, but that's also an issue as well. But it's just not seeming that it feels important to anyone else, because it seems to them that they feel like it's a money experiment, which it kind of is in a way. But like a lot of these players are going to want out soon, and they're looking for ways out of their contracts.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, yes, I mean, I understand what you mean by like the quality of the players have increased, therefore you assume that the quality of the league has increased. And I agree with that overall. You look at some of the players on these sides, but then we've also mentioned it as well. Of the 20, or I think there might be 18 sides in the Saudi Pro League, only 4 are owned by this big experiment. They're only going to 4 clubs. So like the quality of the league is not improving as much as the quality of a handful of clubs.
Yeah.
And a lot of those players are still unhappy with how it's going. I'm not saying that it's going to tank soon, and I don't even necessarily care if it tanks. Like, it's not me wanting it to fail. I don't personally care, because
you secretly kind of want it to fail. Yeah?
No, as long as it's not coming down to poaching high-profile talent.
Yeah.
I don't mind the fact that these guys that are in their early to mid-30s are going there anyway. You don't really miss a lot of that kind of stuff. What you really don't want to see happen is a Xavi Simons, is a Victor Osimhen, a Zaire Emery. Like, you don't want to see a lot of those guys starting to go over there.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to happen, because these young players are getting offers.
Yeah.
And no one's really going. Ruben Neves went, and it was noteworthy because he was 26 or 27. You know what I mean? That's what's considered a baby player over there. No, I do think that it's an experiment, and I don't think it's going according to what they thought it was going to be. And I just don't think they're in any way going to be competing with the quality of the leagues overall anytime soon. And I think the players are starting to figure it out as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Let's talk about the Robert Lewandowski case. What do you think? Xavi said, if I have to drop Lewandowski for Victor Roque, I will. Nobody's immune to being dropped.
Yeah.
It's weird because Lewandowski was such part of a big legacy in football, especially at Bayern.
Yeah.
I love the guy. And just seeing how things are not working out for him makes me feel a little emotional.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those that it's not that it's an issue with the management.
Yeah.
And it's not that the issue is just him either. The entire club is not performing at the quality that they should. No one really feels like they're in supremely high form.
Yeah.
Including him. And so he's not immune. Like, if he was playing out of his skin completely, and the issue was just him and management not getting along, like that's ridiculous. But I mean, he's a little bit older. His quality might be tapering off. The quality of the entire club is tapering off.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the end of the world. I think it's kind of just the natural cycle.
Some people thought he was Xavi was being disrespectful because he said it on the whole interview.
Because he said that no one's immune.
No, he said because if he has to drop Lewy for Victor Roque, Victor Roque's a kid, then he will do it.
Yeah.
But in the locker room, what would be the dynamic as, talking to this legend like that? Oh my goodness.
So it's one of those, like, so
Victor Lewandowski once scored 5 goals in 9 minutes.
I understand. No, I understand. But I'll say this. I'll split the sentiment, because I do think that everything that he said was correct.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be pressured by, and it's not even that the player, Lewandowski himself, would be the one that's pressuring him to start when he knows as well as anyone, maybe more than anyone, that he's out of form. Maybe that's just not something that you say in an interview. Mm-hmm. But I think that you should, as a manager, be able to say that openly to the player and in the locker room. Look, guys, no one is immune to this. we know, we all train together. It's no secret to us that he is out of form. Just like, Frankie, you're out of form.
Yeah.
We all fucking see it. You watch the matches every week, but like we play the match every week and we train every single day with you guys. You all know who's playing well, who's not playing well, who's training well and then just not showing up on game day, and who's just frankly not showing up at all and hasn't been showing up this entire season.
Yeah.
You should be able to say that kind of stuff to your players. I do think that there's a bit of keep it inside.
Yeah.
Keep it inside.
I will say this. I think Lewandowski will regret going to Barcelona. If there was some sort of look into the future before you take a decision in the present, a lot of people will have done it, but the world don't work like that. But I'm pretty sure people should not advise him. He would have been better off going to a Premier League team than I
was going to ask you,
Barcelona.
Where do you think that he should have gone other than, because it was time
up at
Bayern, but
if he had gone to Arsenal would have been killing it right now because his game kind of fits in. He's a goal poacher.
Yeah, he is.
And you have a lot of people around that can actually feed you the ball.
They're getting the ball in the box.
Yeah.
And
he's a box merchant. Yeah. So you just have to be there and get all this.
Because that is the big piece of the puzzle. Yeah. They move the ball well and he'll be right there.
Yeah. And he doesn't require to have crazy speed. Although he's still fast compared to someone like Müller or whatnot. Right. A lot of young kids around here are too fast. He just have to be timing and goal scoring. Yeah. It's kind of like a Benzema, all fine wine.
I get that.
He will have killed.
Because you have Saka, Martinelli, you have Jesus, you have Martin Odegaard that are running around like scrambling like crazy ants.
All these goals
and Robert's just kind of sitting there in the center going, give me one little pass in.
All these goals they're missing. Yeah. He will not. Yeah, he would have been. That would have been goal for him.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
And you sign him for a 2-year deal?
Yeah.
And this would be the end of the deal. And right now in this January window, you're looking at someone anyway. So what? Lewandowski shares minutes with an Ivan Toney for 6 months, for 4 months.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then you let him go, and it's totally fine. Yeah, that could have worked out, couldn't it?
It could have worked out.
Yeah.
Now, how do you become the goal scorer of the year and you don't feature in the list? You don't feature on the team of the year. I don't get it. Cristiano Ronaldo still voted by the international committee or whatever committee votes these guys. By the goal scorer, he's the goal scorer of the year.
Who do you leave out then? Because who were the three that were up there?
I would leave out Harry Kane.
That's bullshit. You leave out Mbappe before you leave out Harry Kane.
No way. Mbappe in 2023. Didn't you watch the World Cup?
Whatever.
He secretly handled the all Argentina by himself. Come on, brother.
Nah, I don't know. Well, I mean, but if you give me those four names, if you give me those four names, it's easy. I leave off Ronaldo. I leave him off. That list makes sense to me.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm not saying I would take Mbappe off. I'm just saying.
Let me play devil's advocate. Why is Lionel Messi featuring in that list? What did he do in 2023? Win the World Cup.
Yeah. Again, I'm not saying that you take that Mbappe deserves to be off that list. You asked me like who comes off to force Ronaldo in. I think Ronaldo is where he is, and that's an okay thing, you know.
I guess so, you know.
But yeah.
Hey, also Ronaldo plus that's why I need my what you call it again?
So we're ordering this soundboard, this like sampler board.
Yeah.
So you can have like
thing.
Ooh.
Yeah. I would have given a round of applause or whatever to my boy Sadio Mane. He just got married. I like that guy.
Good for him.
Yeah,
nice.
Good for him. Well, we have interesting games coming up. Do you want to talk about it?
Let me pull up the list. You go ahead and kick into it first. We'll see what we're going with here.
Yeah. My laptop is turned off.
Because we are wrapping up some FA Cup stuff because it's Middlesbrough and Chelsea, that's the most unappetizing match that I can think of. It's humanly possible. Liverpool hosting Fulham. That should be a thrashing. Liverpool look very convincing lately. Just Frosinone, not a chance.
Then Chelsea is also hosting Fulham on January 13th. That's crazy because I think Fulham beat Arsenal. Did they?
Yes. So that run of form has been unideal.
This is about that time where things become crazy.
Yep. Yeah, this whole month's been pretty crazy, and I think that we've got maybe this is the last week of it looking very congested until it kind of resumes to big match weekends. But we've also got Newcastle United hosting Manchester City, with Newcastle having a massive fall from grace recently. They're currently sitting at 9th on the table, I believe.
Oof.
And an unconvincing Manchester City, despite them still being in the top 4. You know, that's interesting. Let's see here. Then we
United also hosting Tottenham on January 14. We'll see how.
Now my laptop's losing its mind. What's going on here? Technical issues. Oh my God.
And Liverpool is first. If people did not know that.
Yeah.
And Aston Villa is crazy. I don't know how much you guys. Do you realize they're second?
Yeah. Well, and because we were talking about it earlier as well, they finished last season at 7th place, which again is good.
Yeah,
but
it's like this
run of form has been pretty unbelievable.
It's like they're sneaking up on them.
Yeah, well,
they just knock up.
And with Liverpool
crazy.
being very consistent with what feels like no end in sight, it's like they're getting into one of those 2 or 3 month long runs of form when they really need it, because by the time that they would start tapering off by their standards, it's the end of the season.
I guarantee the end of this season will be wild as hell. I'll tell you why. Tottenham has 39 points and it's just 6 points from the first, which is Liverpool. Arsenal has 40 points and it's just 5 points from the first. So they're really not a big gap.
No, there's not.
It's like 1 or 2 games off from each other.
Yep.
So any team that's fumble or miss or just loses a game, even the draw is not gonna be acceptable because they're so close to each other.
Well, and that's the frustrating thing, is that Arsenal they've earned 4 points in their last 5 games.
Yeah, that's why
3 losses, 1 win, and a draw. It's unbelievable.
That's why they fell off that much.
Yeah, Christmas Day they were top of the league.
Yeah,
by New Year they're fucking gone. Ridiculous.
Welcome to 2024.
Yeah, man. But it's one of those where you don't look for excuses as a fan because
of Arsenal. So Arsenal doing Arsenal's things. So.
But you know what? You'd rather have a 4-horse race convincing till the end than what was it, 4 years ago when Manchester City locked the league down by March?
Yeah.
That's not fun for anybody. And then as much as it is exciting when it's a 2-horse race, when it's, City and Liverpool making consistent bids, when it add 2 more teams into the equation, with Liverpool not playing as well as they have in the past, Manchester City nowhere close, Arsenal for the, in a 7-year scope playing very well for what they're used to, and Villa coming out of absolute nowhere. Someone's gonna have to give, and who's it gonna? And Tottenham, I mean, they're only 1 point behind Arsenal in 5th. It's like, so really, I'm not saying that Spurs can win it, but you're looking at like who's convincing in the points at the top of the table. 5 teams can shuffle around on a week by week basis.
And guess what, guys? West Ham is sitting at 6. So just
top 6, yeah.
I'm just telling you guys.
I swear to God, if that happens.
It's gonna happen.
It'll be the most interesting one because because you didn't expect Newcastle to choke like they did.
Yeah, Newcastle started up.
It's beautiful seeing Chelsea choke the way that they are. I'm kind of kidding. I'm not kidding, actually. Todd Bowley keep him in forever. I'm kidding. He's a fucking idiot. But
I think I'm just gonna send him some videos of me playing. He might sign me. You never know.
Yeah, 60 mil.
Yeah, that's easy.
I think
that's the base if you want to get to Arsenal. So I'm into Chelsea.
Yeah.
So on the other side, in La Liga doesn't have that much games that I'm looking forward to. But I'm always gonna keep updated with the news and everything. But Girona versus Sevilla, that's too far actually. That's 2 weeks. But Girona is a club that I really want to keep very, very close because these guys are killing it.
Yeah, well, and more than likely, like whether they win the league or not this year, next year we'll be watching more of them in Europe.
Yes,
so
definitely.
We need to keep tabs on them. Napoli in 9th place, by the way.
Ooh.
In Serie A.
That's Serie A, okay.
Really, really, really rough stuff.
Juventus is first there, right?
Second.
Yeah.
Behind Inter Milan by 2 points. AC Milan kind of tightening things back up. They're in third place with 39 points. So really, it's a 2-horse race in Serie A. Despite Juventus overcoming that point deduction that they had this season as well. So.
Roma, how about Roma?
Roma, I saw an article today that Jose Mourinho might be exploring new options in the summer.
Oh,
so Jose Mourinho kind of looks like it's time to move on. It didn't seem like it was.
If he's gonna come to
the MLS.
No,
that'd be wild. If he had
it's not MLS material.
If he had 2 years left or something, I could see. I would love to see him do it.
No, how old is he? I don't think he's probably going to go back again in Premier League. I can see him doing that or stay in Italy.
He's so cool though. I got to when for my honeymoon, we caught a game in Rome. Yeah. It was Roma hosting AC Milan. Back in April.
Yeah.
And I just took so many pictures of Jose Mourinho during the game. Like, the game's going on, and I'm just like, all right, fuck you guys. Let me squeeze in here. And I was like, you see that blob over there? That's Jose Mourinho.
Oh, man, yeah.
My wife she was like, that's Jose Mourinho. That's crazy.
You should try to greet him. He would have said something crazy.
He just, yeah.
You know, he's 60. He still got it.
Well, it's funny as well because my wife is kind of in the know on a lot of this stuff, like in very strange ways. Like she doesn't watch nearly as much as we do.
Yeah.
But she remembers certain things, and she always remembers Jose Mourinho as the I think so. I think so. So I pointed and I set her up for it, and she did. I was like, "Is that Jose Mourinho?" She goes, "I think so. I think so."
Jose Mourinho is the coolest.
He's so cool, man.
Like I think it's crazy because he's so entertaining. I think the lack of him being fully, I wouldn't really say language barrier in a sense because he speaks it, he understands it, English, but it just makes it kind of funny. He's so direct.
He has very interesting ways of phrasing things. Yeah, it's like...
I think it's probably because he's converting it from probably Italian. What's his first language? Portuguese, actually.
Yeah.
Probably from Portuguese to that. Probably makes sense.
That he comes off as, but when he's also he's the closest thing I think that football's ever had to. He feels like a superhero villain.
He's kind
of, especially when he wears an all black suit. It's just I can see this guy being the mastermind behind a heist. He's not the guy holding the gun.
Yeah.
But he put it all together, and he's in a moon base somewhere, looking over everything.
He's always controversial. Yeah. That's what I love about it is the fact that he's always controversial. He would just say out.
Well, and even I think it was 2 months ago, I sent you a funny article, and it's so Mourinho that I think that you responded. You were like, so, because he had given a note to a ball boy to give to his keeper. It's just it's such a classic move, and I was like, yeah, but that's the most Mourinho thing that you can do.
Really used to it.
It's just so funny, man. I just love it so much.
Mourinho, it's okay. I like when he says, if I speak, be in big trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good one.
All right, guys, we are wrapping up this episode, and follow us on every and all our platforms. It's gonna be on the link down below in all our YouTube videos. Go follow, subscribe, talk, comment, do whatever you have to do.
Spotify star review.
And we have Spotify too, so go on Spotify. And I tell you guys, the link will be in all our description. I'm telling you guys, this thing is gonna be hot off the press.
Off the press.
Off the press.
Like everything. Again, you're not doing anything else.
Just go and do it, guys.
Nonsense.
Next week. Bye.
Bye.